Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me. This, I imagine, will be the last of the renters' rights specific webinars. So I'll try and cover a few things today. Um, if I can just get everyone to tell me if they can't hear anything, or tell me that they can hear anything in the chat, just to be sure that sound is working and that everybody can see my shared screen. Should be a picture of Redman. Okay, well, it seems the microphone's working. Okay, so I'll begin. We'll start with just wrapping up the renters' rights information sheet. The latest version of Rentman, released earlier this week, has some extra lists in the main tree view. If you used Rmail to send the information sheet, then Rentman knows whether or not the email was received and even read. So under here we can, if the Rmail was not delivered properly because of invalid email address, it'll be in that list. All the acknowledgements it was delivered are there. Receipts where people opened it and read it are there. And all those that have been sent, but we haven't yet received an acknowledgement, are here. So that should help you before the end of the month be very certain that everybody who needed an information sheet did actually receive one. Not really part of that, but related is a new list down here that says tenants without email address. So if the tenant doesn't have a valid email address, it probably wouldn't have been delivered. So it might be in sent no acknowledgement, but there will be a list for general use of the tenants that don't have an email address. Received wisdom has it that you're going to want proof of a lot of communication with tenants from here on in. So, and email is a good way to do that because you have the journal, you have the mail headers, and probably, and we would recommend you use Rmail so that you have it registered, and that counts as legal proof. Um, Okay, so you have the end of the month to get that. Obviously, any problems or any questions, call support and we'll walk you through things. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the Section 13 increasing the rent increases and Section 8, the notice for repossession. We'll start with the rent increase. This is probably the first one you're going to come to. And I suppose we really start here on this list. Rent reviews are due. Rentman will tell you 52 weeks or when a rent review is due. And you get by default, the tenancies will appear on this list 3 months before the review is due. Tells you the review date, the last increase, and the current rent amount. Now, most of you, I imagine, will have attended some of the seminars given by training for professionals, or perhaps somebody else, about this process. I'm not going to repeat all the advice here, except to say that David Dorton Gibson at Training for Professionals considers the Section 13, the notice, to be the end of the process. His recommendation is that you begin a conversation with the tenant as soon as the review comes in, sort of offline almost, and agree the new rent before you issue the Section 13, because the Section 13 is open for can be contested. It can go to a tribunal and it can delay the implementation. Whereas if you have an offline conversation first, if you agree to it now, basically saying if you agree to it now at this rate, we'll do it for slightly less than we would otherwise be asking for. As I say, I'm not going to repeat the advice, just to say that Training for Professionals are still doing their renters' rights seminars and webinars. If memory serves, there's a seminar in London beginning of next month, and an online webinar as well, maybe at the very end of this month, if not the beginning of next. As always, I recommend you attend them. So anyway, having gone through the process, you might then decide, okay, it's now time to issue the section 4A. So we go to tenancy, and you can see, oh, I've already put in here an effective date far into the future. The rent increases now, some of you probably will have already noticed. When we look at ones we've done already, we've got this little extra in here. Because the notice actually has room for all of these items that are maybe included in the rent, the rent man, I felt obliged to put them in rent man as well. And when you print, I'd say it earlier, rent man will show how those individual rates have increased from the existing rent to the new rent, proposed new rent. As always, nothing's changed here. You put in the effective date, the new amount, payable monthly, etc., and we save it. Now, when we save a new rent, we'll automatically go straight into this screen, sending a document, because Rentman's going to want to send a section 13. So we're going to click section 13, and we're going to press print. Now, section 13, much like the information sheet, has to be served. You don't need a signature. You just need proof that you served it. You're not even worried about them having received it or read it. You just have to know that you've served it. So again, our mail is probably the way to go. And on a general basis, it's worth your while. Now that we have time, it's worth your while, I recommend, creating your own account with our post, your own mail account, and do a lot of these formal email conversations with tenants registered. Their receipt does hold up in court, and proving you served something using ordinary email could be a problem. You need to get the mail headers and you get the information, and if you're doing that retrospectively, it could be a bit of a headache. For however much our mail will charge you, and it's done on a quota, a pre-purchased quota, it's probably worth it for the peace of mind. Anyway, section 13, I'm just going to print it now rather than email it, and Rentman creates a finished document for you. I think you can all see this. It's a copy of the government thing. We've got the tenants, we've got the address, postcode, details of the landlord. It's always done under the aegis of the agent. So you will be in there. That's my company name. The existing rent, when the tenancy started, all these notes are properly implemented and you get the right dates. So there's the current rate. Oh, I'm proposing a new rate, test data, new rent of the same amount. And then this is the effective date. And here are those included in rent items I spoke of earlier. Signed by, and there's a little bit of code in there. It's coming up with admin. It'll probably be you, the person issuing, unless there's a signing name or some other option has been put on. Now, as a curiosity here, I'll just show in a minute. So here is you signing. You're the landlord's agent and your name on behalf of the company. These will always be blank because we're not having the landlord sign them. All these information, the links are live, so in the PDF they can click on them all the way down to no further information. And we've got you signing again. This is peculiar, and the first versions of this I had it incorrect. It seemed to me that the second signature was going to be the tenant acknowledging receipt, but no, it's you signing again. Yeah, so the same name goes in here, and then this is the date on which it has been served, all pre-populated, um, and done. And that's it. Off it goes. As I say, the recommendation is to send it via registered mail, just for the ease of use. Um, I'm just looking around. Oh, right. Um, Checking my notes. Yeah. The other thing to say is if you haven't already done a rent increase in Rentman, as for instance on this tenancy, if we go straight to send documents and print, tick that box, then Rentman's going to come up prompting you to put in the new rent amount, and then you can print directly from here. That's it. It's as simple as that. Are there any questions? Please either raise your hand or put something into chat, or I think there's a Q&A section this time. So please, if you've got any questions, now's a good chance before I move on to the notice of the grounds and the notice of repossession. Okay, I'm not seeing anything yet, so I'm just going to move straight on. Good. Obviously, this recording is going to be posted to our usual YouTube channel, and as always, send emails or call support if there are any questions, or even as you walk through your very first rent increase, if there's any doubt. Oh, someone's asking, if you already use our sign, how can we have our mails? Although they're the same company, they are different products. You don't need to use our sign for the Section 13 or the Section 8 because you just need to serve, you don't need a signature back. And so our mail will be cheaper. You need to talk to whoever your account manager is. Jamie Larson, probably. And he'll set you up with a new account. You might have a chat with them. They're getting pretty flexible because I keep nagging them. They might be able to offer you one account where you can use up our sign and our mail with it on the same ticket. They're getting used to me asking them to change their business model, so you might try that. Right, we move on now to the Section 8 and the notice for repossession. Again, not much has changed this time. If we go to, well, here's one I set up earlier. So we start with on the property. When you take on a property from a landlord, he or she might tell you that I'm always going to want a minister. I might want a minister of religion go on there, and these two, and only these two now, are notices that will require prior notification. That is, when you create the tenancy, you should tell the tenant that you may one day need repossession based on either of these grounds, if that is the case. I'll show you how you do that in just a moment. But typically you would set this up with the property, and then Rentman will remember from one tenancy to the other that it needs to send out this notice. So you just tick that. But here we are over here in this tenancy, and you can override what we set up in the property easily from here. So we can set in here the grounds for repossession, and I've got here, sorry, that's not the one I meant to do. The grounds for prior notice we can set up in here. And I've overridden what's on the property to say we send these two out when we create the tenancy. And if you do that, I'm going to show you, Rentman will produce a letter, and typically that would be in your welcome package. You would be sending that out over here, the APT package, and I can't remember. I might, on this system, I may have section Section 8 Form 3A already in that package, and it will go out with the tenants if there are grounds already noticed. So we print this, and it's the same as it ever was. Notice for ground of possession, all the information, and the full wording as copied from the government side. Ditto for the next one. Two separate documents for the two grounds. So they go out with the tenancy agreement typically. When you want possession of a property at some future date, you can't just serve a Section 21, as I'm sure you're all aware. You now need to select the grounds for the repossession. Here's one I did earlier. The landlord's principal home, ground 1, and why? The landlord's returning to the country. You would probably put a little bit more information in there. We'll see how it comes out in a moment. But you go through here and you can tick all of the grounds that are applicable in this case, and you put in here, you just type into here whatever your particular grounds are, and we save them. And I will have remembered that. And if they are ticked, when you come into the screen, you will have noticed, oh, we've got Section 8 ready to go. So you click this, and up it comes. A completed document for you. Tenant's details, the earliest date that we can have possession. Here are the grounds previously ticked. There is the ground information for you. And then here is the text that you typed in, the reasons for. All ready to go. Over here, contact details. Again, we've got the same signing. We put the sign, we are the agent for and on behalf of, contact information, and then all this information about what to do and so forth. And then here on the final page, we've got again the repeat of the signature and the date. I should add, an embedded signature like this, even in a basic Windows script, is legally valid. I have checked that with David at Training for Professionals. It's been tested in court, and because it's coming out of your email address and typically registered, good enough. So you don't need to do anything with the PDF or send it to yourself to sign on its way to the tenant. And there we go. That's it. It is as simple as that. As I said at the top of this, nothing much has changed except when you can do things and the forms themselves. But within RentMan, it works pretty much the same as it always did. Just looking around to see if I've got anything else I want to add at this point. No, I think that's all the way through. Again, any questions? Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything. Chat, I'm not seeing. Put your hand up if you have anything or you want to ask a voice question. Otherwise, there's a question and answer. What have we got? Cliff, enter a date or does it do it automatically? Which date? The notice, the effective date, it will do that automatically. It will work out the earliest date at which you can take repossession. Based on the grounds, and each ground has its own, some are 2 weeks, some are 3 months. A couple of them disturbance, antisocial behavior is immediate with immediate effect. And some of them round out to the next rent due date. But Rentman will calculate accordingly. Now, as always, we've tested, but there's nothing like real data. So the first couple of times you do this, please do check the dates and the wording and everything, just to make sure that the particular combination of data, data points for this particular tenancy haven't, confused Rentman and it's picked up the wrong thing. So do have a look. Any questions, please get straight onto support. We'll have it fixed immediately. But be assured we are testing this, and we do test this. But there's always a slightly different combination that you've got that, didn't see that happening, and Rentman gets confused. So please let us know, and we'll get it fixed. But otherwise, that's it. It's quite simple. I think everyone was panicked about renters' rights. It's going to change the entire industry, etc., etc. And I think what one customer said to me long ago was, it hasn't changed it terribly much. Instead of taking forever to get rid of a tenant, it now takes you forever and 2 months. And apart from that, yeah, it's good. And as David Dorton Gibson says, if you've got good landlords and good tenants, it's quite easy. It's quite straightforward. As always, it's just the exceptions where you need to be very careful and you need to have done things properly with proof that it was done, which is why the registered mail, I think, now becomes a strong recommendation. Thus far, the registered mail for the information sheet, because I suspected everyone would be sending out a lot immediately, I didn't think our post would have time to set each of you up with your own account by the time you wanted to deliver, which is why I created a Rentman account and I'm cross-charging you. That's probably not going to continue, simply because the email appears to come from Rentman rather than yourselves. And in the longer run, we'd probably want to change that. I can change it so that it can pretend to come from you, but it takes double the, it takes just as much work as you having your own account with Armail. If anybody doesn't find that's working for them, like you need too large a quota to make it work, then please get in touch, and maybe I will continue this. You use Rentman's account, and I'll cross-charge you, because then you can all share the one quota and perhaps get a reduced amount. But any feedback on that, please let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Apart from that, unless there are any more questions, I think I've taken up enough of your time. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. Let me just flick around, make sure I'm not losing them. No. Okay. As I say, this will be posted to YouTube over the weekend, and I'll talk to you again next month. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? More Q&A? No, we're done.